you see this market and this kind of world we operate in going towards, even in assisted living and the niche markets like wholesale, creative, anything like that? What do you think we're heading towards?
Yeah, so the ALF space is great and in a great position for rolling up. Kind of like where urgent cares were 20 years ago, 15 years ago. There's just all these individual brands, but now you see urgent cares.
As the general manager of I admire like how you look at your team and everything. So the Finley company, Findlay Living, how did you build your world class team? Like what qualities in a person do you look for in building
Well,
that team?
well, let's start with Finley Living, right? Since most of my focus is there, I did this completely different than anything I've done before. Everything I've done before was organic, just kind of pretty good at going with the flow. But this was something I did very purposeful, right? Based on a lot of experience, a lot of history. So it's completely different because I built a board, you know, and all my board members are extremely well off, way up the ladder, and way down the journey of where I'm actually going. So I found a lot of guys with a lot of experience that was able to guide me. That's I've never done that before. Prior was just like one dude or one guy I'm following until I figure things out, and I'm off on my own. This is now a collection, an entire team that agreed on a plan, a way to execute a plan, entry points of that plan, exit points, things of that nature. So this one, I'm more disciplined in it, right? So they're helping build a team, the structure, the law firms, the accounting firms. And when it comes to law firms and accounting firms, you're talking the top 10 in the nation and or worldwide really. So this is like a completely different level. So I'm still learning when it comes to that. Wholesaling components to drive cash flow to Finley Living and allow us to I'm sorry to Finley Vacation Homes and allow us to find deals we could buy and hold or find deals we can transition into our short-term rental portfolio using creative terms, right? So that's just a portfolio that we're building, and now I have a team that's they're completely handling that on their own. I check in maybe once every week, or twice a week max. But that took a lot of time, and that took a lot of getting rid of a lot of people, and also it took a lot of me changing and actually learning how to develop as a leader, because at one point I kept on pointing the finger like, oh, this guy's not good enough. This guy's not good enough. Or she needs to do that better. And I don't know. One day I was in the kitchen. I was like, I think these people are good enough. I think I'm the problem. I need to figure me out. And the way I did that was spending more time with them. So, morning calls, midday, afternoon calls, going over the KPIs, right? Cold calling scripts, role playing, listening back to their calls, figuring that out, and fine tuning and calibrating until they hit a point where, okay, now deals are coming in and they're now making decisions that prior I didn't think they could make certain decisions and certain moves, but they're executing it. I was like, okay, I was the actual problem. I get it, right? So it's like you have to water the plant if you expect it to grow. And let's just put the seed in the ground and just say, okay, I'm done, grow, right? It's not that. I have to actually nurture it and work on it on a daily basis. And the more I took responsibility on that end, I saw the change. And also that's why I still try to keep in touch once or twice a week just to make sure that everyone know eyes are on. I mean, if the cat's away, the mouse will play kind of thing, right? So you really want to monitor the habits of the team to make sure that they hold them accountable and also hold yourself accountable above all.
That was amazing. You was giving us some sauce right there. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, it's
That was
Yeah,
amazing, man.
seriously. Yeah, I mean, we make our team like read books and watch the whole creative finance videos, but I love that, dude. Just going out, finding exactly what you're looking for, implementing it, and then you're learning too as you're growing. So that's awesome.
yeah.
Um, I'm gonna kind of switch a little bit to like market trends. Like, because you have really, really, really great expertise in this industry, and like you monitor the trends and new opportunities and everything else that are going on. Where do you see this market and this kind of world we operate in going towards, even in assisted living and the niche markets like wholesale, creative, anything like that? What do you think we're heading towards?
Yeah, so the ALF space is great and in a great position for rolling up. Kind of like where urgent cares were 20 years ago, 15 years ago. There's just all these individual brands, but now you see urgent cares in these major shopping centers and specific brands, right? So that space is completely different. But far as creative financing, wholesaling, and short-term rentals, I think the market is it's in a better position than it's ever been, right? The best market you could be in, I think it's a buyer's market where I think this is where we are at the moment, where the sales are slowing down, conventional sales are slowing down, but on our end, as that slows down, I'm seeing business starting to pick up on our side because people need to be more creative to get into deals because the banks are, they have higher restrictions and certain things to actually get financing. So for the space that we're in, I think it's the perfect time. And also, it's how you look at things, right? You never want to look at a market and say it's complete shit. And again, you don't want to be naive, right? And sell yourself as something that it's not. But in the space of actual business, you just have to fine tune things and understand that the there's two sides to every coin. So if things are slowing down with conventional lending, on the other side of that, things will be speeding up with non-conventional lending, right? That's the opposite side of that coin. So that's something I think people need to notice and recognize. And I see it in the deals. I see it in the deals that are in the market currently where the creative side is picking up speed, and a lot of realtors and brokers that were not willing to do deals with us prior. Now I'm getting calls from them, right? Like, hey, I have certain people that didn't qualify. Do you have any deals in this area that we could get them into? A year ago, it was not like that at all. It was more like, is this even legal? I forgot that so many times. I'm like, yeah, it is legal. Well, who can I speak to tell me that it's legal? I'm like, I don't know. You can speak to title. I can show you some videos, but this how am I gonna teach you if something is legal, right? But they're more understanding and open to making things happen because funny thing, when you're hungry you have to eat, right? And this is another way for those conventional market business people, far as realtors, brokers, that they can actually see some extra revenue since the conventional way is slowing down.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
100%
man.
is, man. That is it's funny, right? Because, it's funny how things change so quickly, right? Because it's the same people that were questioning legitimacy last year that are now working with you and reaching out for your help, and it's funny how that dynamic changes. So, yeah, Kyle, I love what you're saying because you're always trying to just provide value. You want to do what's right for the buyer, what's right for the seller, and just make a great transaction for everybody. And so I feel like if you always set out with good intentions, it's really hard to do bad or do wrong by people. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love it.
absolutely. Yeah, you're right. And I had this conversation with one of my guys the other day. It's like, I see this space currently where I saw vacation rentals in like 2010. Like we got kicked out of so many buildings. Uh, they thought it was, this thing is just a fad. It's not something long term. It's not sustainable, and there was no regulation for it. Next thing you know, you have to get permits, and certain like they had to change all the rules around it to facilitate this new way of generating cash with real estate back then. And it wasn't new, by the way. It's been happening since the beginning of time. But now it's mainstream and there's a brand around it, Airbnb or whatever, right? Then the rules had to change, permits, things like that. So I see this space also earlier, but it's now coming to now it's now going mainstream. So regulation is going to have to be structured around it. Like some states are now requiring certain licenses in order to wholesale deals. And as soon as I saw that happening, I'm like, yeah, because now it's going mainstream.
Yeah. Just like great Cody Sanchez said, they like to muddy the water so nobody can swim. So
I love that. Yeah, I like Cody.
one of those situations. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's the GOAT.
yeah. She
But
talks about buying small businesses also. She's right on point with that.
yeah, I'm gonna start looking at acquiring some small businesses myself amongst my family on a little bit on the personal side. So looking at that. But you know what? This whole like podcast has been super inspiring, and honestly, like minus the camera and everything, super interesting to see where Kyle Finley is going to go next. So, what's your long-term vision for the Finley Company and Finley Living?
Um, we have a hard exit for Finley Living, 8 to 10 years, 500 million in EBITDA. That's an exit point for us. And within that journey, we're looking to change the narrative around long-term care and assisted living and build a strong brand around it, where the brand sets expectations for the end user. Currently, it's in a space where if someone needs to use one of these facilities, the decision making is based on 2 points. One, what's the cost per bed? Two, how close is it to the family's home? Nothing there says the quality of care expectations. That comes to the forefront after they've actually selected a facility, and the day to day goes on and like, hey, well, how's the food? How's the entertainment? Where that should be at the forefront, right? The quality of care. So we're looking to change the narrative and flip that around, where when you go into a certain restaurant or where you get a certain brand, that brand sets an expectation that correlates with quality and things like that. So we're going to create a brand that says quality of care, a place to build new memories, a better life for my elderly and my loved ones, just based on brand recognition. And then our brand will deliver on that. And then around that, and having enough cap in the market, then that allows us to then change the market as a whole, right? And then the rest of the market will have to actually adjust because now there'll be actual brand competition rather than, you know, uh, proximity to the home and cost of bed competition, which is on the lower side of things, right? On the other side, as far as vacation rentals, we're just building up a really good portfolio for ourselves to hold and carry throughout our life, right? But that's a day by day, deal by deal basis. So personal portfolio, holding on to that, Philly Living, holding on to that as long as possible. Just build it up for cash flow and bury some money in some assets. But the long term goal is exiting with Finley Living, and from there we're moving into building Finley hotels, boutique hotels, and having those in very strategic places, as far as Miami, London, Texas, and also New York, right? So we have certain places we want to build these hotels. And my end of my career, I'll just be managing these hotels and great vacation places. Texas doesn't ring a bell, but we think it's going to be a great market. But that shows back to the hospitality side, right? But I think that's the journey for us and for myself.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And whenever that London hotel comes up, let me know and let the team know we're going to be the first ones in there.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Hey, if it's a good deal and we need some partners in it, I'll give you a call.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We'd be happy to work with you, my friend.